Hello all and welcome to another episode of the Practical Urban Prepper. If you're serious about prepping, the one thing you should have in your arsenal of skills and equipment is first aid, CPR, AED training, and having a first aid kit. Out of all that, to me the most important thing is actually taking a first aid, CPR, AED class, because at the time of an emergency, it's not when you should be looking at a book going to page 3 to see what it says. You should have this knowledge instilled into yourself and have the experience of a class and hands-on practical skills. And there's plenty of classes sponsored by different agencies. You have the American Red Cross, American Heart Association. You have the Emergency Care and Safety Institute. You have the National Safety Council. There are tons of places you can get the training at. I normally don't endorse any classes. Those first aid CPR classes, choose which one works for you. However, one of the best classes, and I am going to endorse this, it's called Stop the Bleed. It's done by the American College of Surgeons, and it particularly focuses on people in mass casualty incidents with major trauma, such as shootings, active shooters, and so forth. They did a lot of studies with reference to those types of events, and they came with the best practices and lessons learned on how to stop bleeding by uses of tourniquets and certain types of dressings and bandages. Again, I don't normally endorse classes, but that one I endorse for you to take specifically. So it's the American College of Surgeons, Stop the Bleed. I'll put the link at the bottom of the video. So here are my first aid kits. You can purchase them online depending on your needs and your skills, or you could build your own. I happen to build my own because I have years and years of EMS experiences and training, and I know what I would like to have in my kit versus what you might get in a store-bought kit. Of all the kits I have, I kind of went with the hard box now. I used to go with the bag. The bag I now use to keep extra supplies. I just kind of like the idea of having a hard box. It's waterproof, weatherproof, easily identifiable. When I tell someone, hey, get the orange box that says first aid kit, it's easier for them maybe to say, get the blue bag that has a Star Life on it. So I kind of went that route. But I also have other kits that I built. This happens to be the one for my car. This is a personal one. And here's a store-bought version that I have. Again, what works for you is the best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move some stuff around so I could get into a little detail. Specifically, I'm going to go over my kit and talk a little bit about some other extra items you may need or want to have. So no matter which kit you have, one that you've built yourself or one that you've purchased via store, and again, there's tons of stores out there online that sell really decent first aid kits. But again, your choice, what you feel, again, works for you, for your training and such. But in my opinion, they should at least have these few things. Personal protective equipment. You should have an N95 mask, gloves, hand sanitizing, whether it be the liquid hand sanitizer or little pads to wipe your hands down. In my particular case, I also have a mask with a face shield, a gown, and capabilities of what they would call a biohazard bag to dispose of any contaminated items. You should also have a face mask or a CPR shield. And as you get your training, you'll learn how to use these items. And also a tourniquet. Those are my basic things that I try to make sure I have in every first aid kit. This is the kit for my car. It's all in here. Again, you're going to build your kit or get your kit as needed, but again, these are my recommendations from my experiences in training. I like to have some tools with me. Got a good pair of what they call paramedic shears or medic shears. These are capable of cutting not only through bandages but through clothing. A flashlight, good not just to check people's pupils, but also in the dark in case you're looking for something, good to have. I have some forceps, an item that's good if you want to hold something in place and you don't have an extra hand. Also, if you are trained, you could certainly use it to close off an artery if, again, you have that specific training. So the last but not least is some bleeding control material. Bandages, dressings, and such. That's what I think is important, at least in a basic kit. And I'm just going to go through my kit now in a little more in depth so that you can get an idea of what you may want to add to yours. Alright, this is what I went with. I went with the hard case. If you're building your own kit, you could go hard case, you could go soft backpack, soft shoulder bag. You can go with a hard case like this, which I purchased from a national chain, hardware store chain, or you can simply get a fishing tackle box and put your stuff in it. It'll work fine. The reason I like the case is what I found over the years is that when many people get into your equipment, and in my particular case, my wife and I are both trained in first aid, CPR, etc. She may take something, move something. She may not know where it is or remember where it is. This, to me, just is clearer, easier to see, and you know where everything is. So what I did is I tried to break it down into particular areas. First and foremost, personal protection. You know, again, my masks, gloves, and such are all here. The next thing, which I feel is very important, is a tourniquet. Very clear, quick to get to. Again, take the Stop the Bleed course and you'll understand how vital this can be in the event of a traumatic incident. I have back here the CPR mask, and I also have a set of airways. Airways are items that you can place in someone's airway so that it keeps it open, so that you can do CPR and mouth-to-mouth or artificial respiration, and the tongue does not block the airway. So I have that. I have my bandages and dressings. The dressings are here. Again, dressings are the items that go on wounds. I have different sizes. I have everything from Band-Aids of multiple sizes and some antibiotic ointment. I have butterfly clips. I have disinfecting wipes. I have, again, dressings that go from 3 inches all the way up to 5x9s. And I said I have the combat dressing. I also have bandages, and bandages is the items that hold dressings in place. They don't have to be sterile. And in here I have the typical, what they used to call cling or roller bandage. I also like to keep elastic bandages in here. Not so much just in case you have a sprain or a strain, but also to be used as a pressure dressing if you have a heavy bleed. One of the other things I found, which is kind of neat, is this bandage, or it's from 3M. You may have seen it, you may have used it or had it used on you if you donated blood or had a blood test. They just wrap it around once or twice and it holds the dressing in place. I have a few of those in here. And of course I have tape, I have triangular bandages, and again, all organized so that it's clearly easy to see. My tools I like to keep up here. Again, nice and clear, quick to look at, know exactly where they are. I have a stethoscope, I have a blood pressure cuff, seatbelt cutter, pen and paper, something a lot of people don't think about. Good to have, write down some notes and such. As I go along, I have some water. It's emergency water. I also carry some medication. I don't carry a lot of stuff because this is not my medical kit. This is a first aid kit. But I do carry aspirin so that if someone's having a heart attack, you can have them chew on an aspirin. I have some sugar in case someone's a diabetic and is low on sugar. And I have some Benadryl just in the event of if they're having an allergic reaction, that I could perhaps give them a Benadryl and that may make them feel better enough. I also have in here a SAM splint, which is a basically a moldable splint that you can put for a fracture. And last but not least, I have a little aspirator kind of like a baster type thing in case someone has something in their eye and you need to flush out the contaminant and such. The only other thing I just added recently, which I didn't want, is a Dollar Tree, or I should say Dollar Store, kind of Calumet light stick. Good, you can just hang it on here. People can see you, and it does just provide some lighting in the event of you're in a dark environment and you need to see, and you're using your flashlight for something else. So this is my kit. It simply just folds up, nice and neat, locks in, and that's that. The last thing I want to talk about is a automatic external defibrillator. Good thing to have. This is a trainer version. My regular one is in the car. But the good thing about it is anyone can have one nowadays. All you would need is a prescription from a doctor to purchase it. I've seen used ones go on sale, and a decent company for about $250. You can buy a new one somewhere in the area of $500. Again, if you call 911 or your local emergency number, it may take 3, 5, 7, who knows, 10 minutes before someone shows up. If you have the skills and you have the equipment, such as an AED or oxygen or a good first aid kit, you could actually make a difference. So my suggestion is this, as I started the whole video. If you're serious about being prepared for emergencies, take a class, get a kit, learn how to use it, know your emergency number, and to be quite honest, teach your entire family, or at least have them take classes, because you never know if when things go bad or that SHTF scenario shows up, that at least you and your family have the ability to provide first aid to stabilize a person before help arrives. Again, please look into those classes. Can't emphasize enough first aid, CPR equipment and training. Absolutely. So with that, this is the Practical Urban Prepper. We're in day 57 here in the Northeast for the COVID-19 scenario. Things are starting to look good, and I'm hoping where you are, you're also seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and things getting better. And with that, I'd like to say, always, be ready, be prepared, and be safe. Thank you, and we'll talk to you again soon.